Welcome to the Caretakers, a show where we'll talk about what it means to be a caretaker on Earth. Whether we're intentional about it or not, we're all caretakers. We've been entrusted to take care of our family, our friends, our environment, and ourselves. We'll talk about strategies for taking care of yourself, mentally, physically, and spiritually. We'll talk about what it means to take care of others, from your neighbor across the street to the neighbor across the globe. This is going to be a journey of self-discovery and reflection, and we hope you join us as we strive to be the best caretakers we can be. So we're here today actually in the gym for the Caretakers Podcast. I'm joined by Belal Hafeez. We are going to be going through a workout and discuss about how to work out during Ramadan to maintain energy. Belal is a personal trainer and he is one of the co-founders of the Healthy Muslims. He has literally written the book along with his wife on the Healthy Ramadan guide, and we're super excited to have him. Not only has he written the book, but he's also done it in practice, helping tons of clients with issues they're having and being in the gym. So, Belal, thanks for joining us.
Jazakallah khair for having me. So today, the goal is to go through something similar to something you can actually work out yourself, and then go through a quick warm-up, as well as walk through different progressions and regressions, right?
Okay.
So for every exercise, there's a harder way to do something, and there's an easier way to do something. So the goal today is to walk through not a lot of exercises, but a few different ones, and then try to get an idea of if you need to go a little harder on it, what will you do? If you're trying to make it a little bit easier, what will you do?
Got
right?
it.
And try to find the best of both, because obviously everyone listening is going to be at different levels. So we want to make sure we're kind of matching the best of everything.
All right, let's get to it.
All right, awesome. So first thing we're going to be doing is warm up. All right, so we're going to be on the floor.
Okay.
All right, so from here, you can face that way, it's fine. So from here, what we're going to do is you're going to open up your stance.
Okay.
Good. So relax your toes. Yeah. So we're going to be doing hip openers.
Okay.
So think of your hip as the steering wheel, and your knee are the wheels going side to side, right? So from here, you lean back. From here, you're going to drop your hip. Good. But open up your legs more. There you go. Right? Go side to side.
Side to side.
Good. So what you're doing is you're driving from the hip, right? So just touch and go. Yep, touch and go.
Touch and go. Okay.
Good. Good. Keep going. Good. Try not to rotate your upper body too much. And you want to focus on being most of your hip. Good. From here, we're going to go into a 90-90. So 90 degrees here and 90 degrees here.
Okay.
Good. So, and then you're going to sit up.
And I'm going to sit up.
Yeah. That's hard.
I feel that one.
Now, if that's hard, you can put one hand down. But you want to be making sure, so here, both of us can face the camera. So turn your your body, like your entire body. Yeah, keep going, keep going. There you go. So now that leg is going to go back.
This one's 90.
So now, is it hard for you to stay up?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so keep one hand down.
Okay.
Now from here, you're going to come forward. Put this hand right on this side of the foot. Good. Try to put this hand right on this side of the knee.
Okay.
Good. Now we're going to do 3 different spots. You're going to chest to your knee, back up, chest to mid-shin, back up, chest towards your foot as much as possible, back up.
Got it.
So from here, you're going to come down, back up, mid-shin, good, back up, and then towards your foot as much as you can. Good, come back up, good. Now come back down, same thing, knee, good, mid-shin, and all the way down to your foot as much as you can. Good, we're going to do one more time. Go through, mid-shin, good. Now for anyone watching, like if this is hard, you can literally, as low as you can go. So it doesn't have to be where it's like, you have to try to match what you're seeing. Try to get as low as you can, and over time, as you keep doing it, you're gonna improve the mobility and the strength to be able to stay in it.
Okay.
Make sense? Now from here, you're gonna come down to your knee, and then you're gonna shift side to side. Try to get all the way to your foot, all the way to your foot. Yeah, there you go. Good. And now we're gonna switch sides. So one thing is, when it comes to mobility, people think of like flexibility, right? But what you actually want to be able to do is be strong in that mobility,
right?
Because for example, if you do splits, like what's the point of doing splits if I touch you, you're gonna get hurt, right? So when you think about like most people, they get hurt running, it often happens because their hamstrings don't have the ability to stay strong in the lengthened position, right? So that's one thing is you want to work on getting into those positions, but then making sure you're working on to getting stronger in that position.
Yeah.
Right? So from here, chest, knee, back up, mid-shin, towards your foot, Good. And one thing you'll notice, you might be tighter on one side or the other, and that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine. That's normal. It's just something you got to keep working on.
Right.
Right? So same thing. Knee, mid-shin, and then down to your foot. Good. Now from here, you're going to come down to your knee and go side to side.
Side to side.
Good. Feel that hamstring?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah? Good. You going? Good. So from here, we're going to come up on all fours. And from here, hands here. Okay. So what we want to do is you're going to think 90 degrees with your knee. It's going to come up.
Okay.
You're going to pause for 10 seconds. Sorry, pause for.
Yeah.
You're going to pause for 5
ability.
seconds.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to come back down. Pause for 5 seconds. You're going to do that 6 times.
Okay.
Ready? So you're going to go up. Good. Come back down. Go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And squeeze your glutes when you're at the top. Good. Feel that?
Yep.
Good. Come back down. Good. Up. Down. Last one. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're going to do 6 fast. Ready? Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Feel that burn?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Now from here, you're going to go. So I'll do this for the camera so they see it. So from here, your toes are going to be out.
Out like this?
Yeah. And then toes down. Down. So toe down.
down,
So
okay.
foot out. So heel to the wall. Good. So from here, you're just going to go touch the ground and come back up.
Okay, I'm staying out here.
Yeah. So touch. So come back down and touch my hand. Good. Come back up. Good. And then squeeze your glute. You feel that?
Yep.
Good. Keep going. All right. So from here, you're going to come up. Pause.
Okay.
Good. Full circle all the way back down to your knee. Good. Come back all the way. And then heel to the wall. Come back down. All the way up, all the way around. Good. Down. And then full circle out. Now, from here, you're only going to come halfway. So halfway out.
Okay.
Good. Same thing. Touch. Come back up. Touch. Come back up. Good. Feel that burn?
Oh, yeah. This is the warm-up?
Yeah. Good. So come back center. And then
Yeah.
same thing. Here. Good. Now, we're going to switch sides. Ready?
All right.
So we're going to do 6. You're going to pause. You're going to come back down. Then you're going to do 6 fast-ish. And then we're
Okay.
going to do straighten your leg up. Okay?
Okay.
Ready? So come up. Touch. Pause.
I'm gonna hold, right?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down. Good. So you can tell I'm not being strict on the 5 seconds. It's more just you want to get a pause.
Right.
Come down. Doesn't always have to be exactly 5 seconds. Good. Down. 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 And really try to squeeze your glute. Get up, 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 up. Good. Down. Good. Now you're going to go fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Now, foot straight out, toes down.
Yep.
Touch and go up. Squeeze. Good. And then make sure you keep a brace.
In the
Right.
core, right?
Yeah. You still want to make sure you have a nice strong brace there. Good. Good. Now, full circles all the way. Yeah, all the way. And I go. Yeah. Touch. All the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. Good. One more. Good. Now you're going to go about halfway.
Here, right?
Yeah, toes down, toes down, toes down. Touch. Touch. Yeah, just tap. There you go. Awesome. Good. Now,
Okay.
from here, we're going to stay down here. We're going to do a little bit of upper body. We're just going to do 2 exercises.
Okay.
Right? Really simple. So from here, what you're going to do is you're going to think shoulders. Right? You're going to drop your chest
Okay.
and shoulders up, round. Drop your chest, shoulders up. The one thing I want to make sure is that we're not bending the elbows. Everything stays nice and locked in position. Hands spread out, tight, shoulders up. So you contract,
Right.
relax. Okay? And you really want to try to round. Basically what you're trying to do is you want to work in here and try to be able to make full circles and then really work on that range of motion within the shoulder. Good? Come back down. Good. How's that feel?
I feel my chest getting tighter there. But I can feel it going through, right?
Yeah. Now, try to make circles.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Let me think about that for a second.
Yeah, there you go. Good. Keep going. All right, good. Now from here, we're gonna do a little bit of rotation, but still work on the scapula as well.
Okay.
Okay. So from here, hands on your elbow. You're gonna come down, right to your knee, and then you're gonna go up. Keep looking down, and then your elbow goes up. So you still got rotation,
right.
And then from here, you're gonna squeeze. Try to squeeze here, right upper back. Okay.
Right upper back. Okay. So I'm here.
So start with your right arm.
Hand on the head.
Yeah, right to your elbow to knee. Yeah, come up. Rotate. Good, there you go. Come back down.
Oh, but I gotta keep looking down.
Up. Good. Feel that rotation in your thoracic.
Yeah.
And then feel that squeeze here. Good, keep going. So you can pick up the speed a little bit.
Okay.
Keep going. Good, switch sides. Up. Good, there you go. And try to squeeze at the top.
So while I do this, what can you tell me about intention during Ramadan of working out?
One of the biggest things is here. You can rest.
Yep.
All right, so one of the biggest things with intentions in Ramadan is always, a lot of people ask questions like, can I build muscle in Ramadan? Can I lose weight in Ramadan? Can I, get stronger? Can I, when it comes to athletic goals and so forth, right?
Right.
All that's good. There's nothing wrong with any one of those things, right? But the goal is spirituality. That's the number one thing, right?
Right.
So the goal should always be, what can I do in my workouts to allow me to give me energy, to a focus, attention, memory, just have more energy to be able to do more ibadah, right? Like you have 11 months out of the year. This month should be a year where you're focused on building a foundation to allow yourself to get stronger from those fundamental movements, right? So then after Ramadan, you can just go absolute, say, beast mode.
Yeah.
Right? But you got to have that, almost think of like an archer, right? First thing an archer does is he doesn't just shoot, he has to pull back. The further back he pulls, the farther that arrow goes.
Okay.
Right? So same thing in Ramadan. The Ramadan is when we're pulling back, right? And really trying to get that strength to be able to pull back, focus on the foundation, build those movements, and then inshallah after Ramadan we release. But same thing with spirituality, right? Because you're going an entire day without eating and drinking. Your nafs is really being beaten down, right? And then that comes from extracurricular activities and everything else you should try avoiding as much as possible, right? So same thing with the workout. We want to try to focus on making sure that we're building a foundation again and have that intention that I want to do this so that way I can do more ibadah and so forth, right? All right, so from here we're going to do into plank. Okay. Now it's a RKC plank, right? So you come down to a plank position.
Okay.
Good plank position. All right, so from here what you're going to do is, this is a regular plank position.
Yeah.
This is easy for you, clearly.
I don't know about that.
So from here what we're going to do is, you're going to squeeze your hands.
Okay.
You're going to pretend like you're driving your elbows back, squeezing your lats, and you're going to drive your feet towards you without actually moving. Squeeze your glute and squeeze every muscle you could think of hard. You're going to hold that for 10 seconds hard. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Regular plank.
Okay.
But you're basically relaxed in that position.
Yeah.
Good, hold. Basically what you're doing is contracting everything, squeeze, get every muscle firing, and then you relax, but your core is still having to work.
Right.
And stabilize. So now you're working on stability. Good. And squeeze. Good. Go. 10, 9, 10. I wanted to see if he's paying attention to counting. And rest. Good. Good. One more, okay? Ready? And go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Awesome. Rest. Whew. How's that?
Good.
How do you feel?
Felt like I was squeezing the earth between my my knees and my elbows.
Good. But how do you feel though? Like energy?
Yeah. No, I feel
better?
the blood is definitely flowing.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing is, when it comes to warm-ups, remember one thing is improve range of motion, but it shouldn't be static, right? You want to improve range of motion through movement, right? You can do static afterwards. If you do a lot of static stretching beforehand, you're more likely to get hurt because you've lengthened the muscle, but you haven't readied it for movement or strength in that range of motion now.
Okay.
Right? So whenever you do something, you want to make sure that you're working on making sure that muscle is strong in that position. Right. So like you'll have guys before soccer or basketball, they're like holding their leg up somewhere and they're like, and they're really stretching. But if you were to push them while they're in that position, they would get hurt. And now they're going to go play a sport trying to go into that lengthened position and wonder why they got hurt. Right. So you got to make sure you're strengthening in that. Right. It's why that bro split or bodybuilding split does not work for athletes. Right. Because it's good if you just want to put on muscle and that's all you care about, aesthetics. But when it comes to performance, it won't work. Right. You got to make sure you're working on mobility along with strength.
Right. And so for me, like that was the first time I've done a warm up like this. Typically what I would do is I'd hop in the gym and I'm like on the treadmill, 5 minutes, on the bike, whatever, just getting the blood flowing.
Yeah.
Where does that fit into your normal?
So I still recommend, treadmill or bike, whatever, 5 minutes, just get the blood flowing and then come into this, it's fine. But you can use this as that warm up.
I feel ready to go.
Great, right? So like it depends on, like for me, if I'd had an extra long day, then I'll do it. I'll add that too, just because I'm like, I really need to just basically just shake off and try to take off as much as whatever I came in with, right? And then go into this and it becomes a lot easier, right? And then that way I'm not focused on my phone, I'm not focused on anything else, I can just kind of zone in, right? All right, so we're gonna be starting off with squats. Okay, so we're gonna start with body weight squats. We're gonna go into progression from there, right? So basic regression, just a regular body weight squat, right?
So how do you want me to set up here?
So, let's go.
Facing you or away from you?
No, so just face like that bag right there. All right, so that way the camera can see you. All right, and go.
Go.
I just want to see you first. All right, stop, come back up. All right, so open up your stance a little bit.
Okay.
Good. Don't put your hands in front. So biggest mistake I see a lot of people do is they have their hands in front and they're just going down. What you're doing is when you put your hands in front, you're counterbalancing.
Yes.
You want your core to counterbalance.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Think of like riding in a subway or a train or a bus and you're standing, right? If you can't grab onto something, what's the first thing you do? You open up your stance, right? You get a light brace and you're like, all right, let me stay strong. If I was gonna come push you, you wouldn't do this.
No.
Right? But you'd be like, you take a step back, you go into almost like a fighting position and you would be like, all right, let me get stronger, right? Or if I'm coming from the side, you can be like, right? So put your hands up. Keep your hands here.
Keep my hands
whichever way,
Okay, and
all right, go. Good. Back up. Good. All right, this is not fair. He has a really good squat.
I've been working.
Clearly. He's spent like the last month, he's like, oh, I got to get ready for him. Let's go through a squat. So the squat's really good, alhamdulillah. All right, so let's do about, so one thing is I'm always big on whatever exercise you're going to be doing, go through with body weight and really work on, going through it. So here,
technique
do about like 5-6 more. All right, so make sure your feet, right? So you want to almost think of like, wet concrete when we were kids, we want to like write on them. So think like that. You want to power your feet into the ground. There's lots of muscles in your feet. You have to make sure that you're really powering from your toes to your heel, really powering into the ground, especially on the way up. Right, so come down, up. Good. Feel the difference? Feel you feel stronger?
Feel much more stable.
Yeah, and your hip is already moving better. Good, because you had so your hip had a bit of a dip at the end, and now just by doing that and really focusing on squeezing, because now your glutes are going to fire better, your hips are going to be better engaged. There you go, much better.
Right, feels much more smooth too.
Yeah. All right, keep going. Do about 4 straight. Yeah, keep going. Good. So that's one thing is whenever you're going through an exercise, be very purposeful. Have a purpose on why. So you'll see people, they'll just be like going through things, like no. And you'll see guys, and I see it all the time, where people are lifting and they're looking around. They're like, they'll be rowing and they're like, or their eyes are wandering and I'm like, no, focus, right? Think mind-muscle connection. Think of the muscles that you're working on, right? And focus in that moment on the exercise you're doing, right? Even take a second before you start to make sure your form's in place, everything's intact, and then go through it, right? And then take that second, because otherwise you're gonna be kind of all over the place. That make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's do a kettlebell.
Okay. Belal's got me working today, boys. We're still warming up.
So, kettlebell.
Okay.
We're gonna goblet squat. We're gonna hold it here. Right. Now, when it comes to lifting a kettlebell, good.
Oh, sorry.
Back down. So, one thing is, now, if you've never done a kettlebell swing, it's a good thing to learn because they're really focused on the hip hinge, right? But same thing, you always want to, even when you're lifting something heavy, you still want to practice being able to lift it properly. So come down, right? Ideally here, up, and then hold.
So So here.
Squat. Yeah, hold it from the side.
Yeah.
With your thumb. Yeah, there you go. Good. Felt easier?
Yeah.
As opposed to like.
More stable for sure.
Exactly. All right, now go through it. Good. Good. Keep that to your chest. There you go. Good. 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 Power your feet into the ground. Good. Awesome. All right. You guys found the strongest person you could to do the guard. We're gonna work out with him on the left. His squat's really good. All right. You guys want to set up with a squat rack?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, squat rack.
Okay.
Right. Now, because you graduated from the other ones easily,
Yeah.
right? Alhamdulillah, you're ready for this. Now, one thing I want you to do is actually here, go into it, and then I'll walk you through it.
Might want me to face it this way? Or?
No, so you're gonna face out this way, so you're gonna
Okay.
go underneath. Yeah. So remember, you're gonna step and you're gonna step back.
I'm gonna step into the rack?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you have more than enough space.
Do I?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're walking anywhere further than that, that's
Something's wrong. Okay. Okay. So let's. So you want me to pick it up as if I'm picking it up, or you're gonna
squat. Yeah. Just
Okay.
squat like you would.
So I'm here. I take typically a couple steps back like this.
All right. Good. Rock. Good. So one thing you'll notice is most people put it too high to begin with.
Okay.
And what ends up happening is they're almost on their toes, right? When they're racking or unracking.
Right.
It's okay to be a little bit like almost like a small little squat. First thing you want to do is feet close together
Okay.
and then get in there. And then your hands, when they start here, that's fine. But then you want to tighten them out and bring them in. You want your elbows to really pull. So if you look at your back, you want your elbows to really pull together to really contract your back together,
Okay.
your scapula, everything. You want to bring it together, right?
So starting close.
So make sure, sorry, you're good.
So I'm starting in close here.
Yeah. So from here, drive in. Okay. So you can actually move back a little bit.
Okay.
There you go. All right. So from here, nope, come back down. All right. So I'm gonna tell you one other thing after, but
Okay.
before you even lift, so you want to pretend like there's tons of weight, even on
Okay.
practice, right? Because right now this is easy for you, but you want to pretend like there's a lot of weight, right? So you want to breathe in, push my finger out. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Now,
Okay.
nice and engage, and stand up. One step. Good. And now you're good. That's all. That should be the only movement you make.
Right.
All right. Ready? Now squat. Good. Come back up. Now open up your stance a little bit. Good. Go. Much better. Power your feet into the ground.
Yep.
Go. Good. Rock. Good. So another thing for everybody listening at home, watch, I'm just gonna show you
Yep.
one thing. So I see this happen a lot, and this is more just a safety thing I want everybody to really be mindful of, is when they grab the bar and they're about to rock, right, they come forward and they almost like, they're trying to guess where it is.
Right.
These are really heavy and strong machines that you can, so for me, when I'm here, I'm going into it.
Just walking straight into
Yeah, just step into it. Because at that point, even if say you lose strength and you need to drop it, it's catching. And these are really strong, right? There's no human that can break these, right? The only time is if they're not bolted. In most gyms, they're all bolted into ground, right?
Right.
Like these, you're not, like they shake, but they're not gonna come off the ground, right? So go right into it,
Got it.
okay? So let's add some weight.
Okay. Okay.
So when it comes to setting this up, a lot of people put clips on, which is good,
Yeah.
right? But when you're still going relatively light, you wanna try to practice being able to stabilize and go through it without any clips.
Right.
And then as it gets heavier, put clips on, that's fine.
Okay. Bismillah. Actually, I'll set it
So
up this way.
tight, think tight. Everything nice and tight, engaged, arms together, pull, back, or engage, squeeze, stand. Good. One step, open up your stance. Good. Engaged. Yeah. MashaAllah. Let's go. Keep going. Good. Power those feet into the ground. Don't let those ankles come up. Power, power, power. There you go. Good. Keep going. Up, up, up. Good. One more. One more. Good. Rock. Much better. On the
I
left.
felt that much shit here.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How was that otherwise?
Good. Yeah.
How
Very
was your
stable.
shoulder, you said?
Very stable. I just felt it. I get a pinch in my shoulder when I'm
So when did you feel it though?
near the end.
Yeah, like the last rep?
It takes time. Yeah, it takes
Okay.
time for it to
so
build
one
up.
thing you got to work on is when your shoulder's there, right? I want you to grip on a little bit better, right? And you want to think straight, not driving your elbows in. right?
Oh, okay.
You want
Right,
to,
nice.
yeah, exactly, right? But the biggest thing is you gotta work on stability, right? If we have time, I'll show you some stability exercises, right? But yeah, that should help.
Hello, when you edit, you're gonna add a bunch of 45s on the other side.
Or change it to a 25. Go the other way. The goal in Ramadan is if you're working out, say 3 times a week, right? Good 3 full body workouts, right?
3 full body.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. You don't need to isolate. You can at the end of the workout, it's fine. But you want to try to use things that's going to be working multiple muscle groups, right? And basically the best bang for your buck, right? You go into a squat. While your legs are resting, you can switch over to an upper body exercise, right? So that way, your legs get a chance to rest.
Right.
You're not burning yourself out, and you're able to continue to keep pushing.
Right. Because I can do this now, but if I did 4 leg exercises back to back at Ramadan, I'd probably be.
It'd be a little bit tough.
Much more busy.
Exactly. All right. So let's grab on. Good. And now come back. All right. So from here. So fist up. There you go.
Turned out, okay.
Yeah. And now from here, you're going to be here, right? You don't want to be here. As soon as you're here, you're putting a lot of pressure that you don't need to be putting on your shoulders. You're here. When it's light, it's going to be easier. But remember, you want to practice the same way that you would otherwise.
Right.
So go through it, come down, up. So your shoulders, so you're going to land, come down, 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 down. See it's nice and tucked in a little bit?
Yep.
Good. Up. Good. Good.
And am I trying to make him touch at the top or no?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah, you want. It's okay if it touches. It's not big, as long as you get.
But
What you're doing right there is good.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to get touched or anything. Good. How does that feel?
Good. Feel it working in my chest.
Good.
I just gotta focus on getting those hands up.
You're good right there. You just want to make sure you're not completely.
We're not like this.
Exactly. And then you see a lot of people do that, or you'll see the weight dropping to the side. You just want to make sure it's nice and engaged.
Right.
Good.
Okay.
Good. All right. You can drop the weight. So when it comes to lifting the weights, right, people, you can get hurt just getting set.
That's the most dangerous position. I always feel it.
So from here, right, you're here, right? Again, go into that squat position, back nice and straight, right? Up, right? So you can do it together too, which is fine. I usually get it up, and then right onto your knees. Now this is the important part. So when you're here, you want to bring your legs up with you.
Okay,
right?
gotcha.
Like you don't want to be here and going back, right? Because you're just in that awkward position, right? So from here, come back, control, knees go down. Okay. Same thing when it comes to rocking, right? You're up.
Back to where you started.
Okay. So back straight. Good. Good. And now, knees up, knees up. Good, there you go. Awesome.
And we're here.
Good. Chest up, little brace in your core, and go. Good. Good range of motion. Good. 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 Rest.
And then you said,
Same thing. And go up. There you go. So think like physics. You're putting your weight, you're putting the dumbbells on your knees, so it's almost going to shoot you up anyways.
right.
Right? So that's the one good thing. On top of that, it allows you to stay safe. How'd your shoulder feel?
Good. Yeah. I had no issues here.
That's good. Alhamdulillah. And that's the one thing. When you're doing dumbbell press, a lot of times you see people like they're out here, right? But even same thing with the shoulder press, right? They're sitting up straight and then they're here. And then they're wondering why their shoulders are hurting, right? Instead, when you sit down, you want a little bit of an incline, right? So you're back here, and then your elbows are here, and then you're able to press up.
Got it.
Right? And you'll actually hit your delts a lot better as well, and it's better positioning for your shoulders and safer as well.
Right.
Okay? All right. So trap bar, right? Okay. So again, we're following the theme of trying to do stuff that's going to be the best bang for your buck.
Right.
Right. This is going to be working multiple muscle groups. Right. The cool thing with this trap bar is that it has a really fat grip here. You have the skinny one at the bottom, which because it's lower, it would increase range of motion, forcing you to get deeper into it. Right. This one will really work on your grip. Your grip is really important. So if you actually look at the research, it's almost directly correlated with your overall health.
Yes, I saw
right.
that.
So your grip strength plays a huge part in your overall health. So it's really important. And the thing is, most exercises won't really work on your grip as much as you would like. So when you can find things, for example, like this, right, it makes it a lot harder. If you start lifting, say, 225 or 315 with the fat bar, and then you switch over to the skinny one, your weight will go up. Like you'll be able to do 400 a lot easier, right? Because your strength to be able to grab on is much, much easier.
Got it. Okay. So I'm setting up inside.
Yep.
And what am I?
Don't lift, just set up.
Okay. So my normal setup, I'd be here.
That's good.
I usually just reach down.
Yeah.
Try to keep my back straight. And
don't lift.
Here. Okay.
So drop your hip, chest up. Yeah. Now a little bit more. Good. Chest up. Good. How does that feel?
Good, but I'm just losing a little bit of.
So come down. Still come down. Yeah, there you go. Keep your chest up. Yeah, there you go. Good. Now from here, your hands aren't lifting anything. Your feet are pushing into the ground and you're standing up.
Okay.
Okay? So you're not doing this, right? What you're doing is push.
My hands are like
standing,
hooks, basically.
Basically.
Okay.
Okay? Obviously, they're going to be doing lifting, but you want to focus on pushing into the ground. Up. Yeah. I'm down. Up. Good. Good. Drive into the ground. Yeah. Good. Up. Good. Press. All right. So clearly too easy for you.
What the fuck?
Alhamdulillah, it's clearly too easy for you. So one thing is, you've done really well. Now most people, the mistake that they make is that they're doing what you did at the beginning, right? Where you're too high and you're leaned over almost like you're about to do a pull, right?
Okay.
Now, obviously it's a pulling exercise in that sense, right? Like even the same thing with like a deadlift, but you still want to make sure your back is straight and your chest is up, right? So the difference between, the reason why I recommend the trap bar a lot more than a conventional deadlift. So conventional deadlift, the bar's in front of you, right? With this you are centered. Mm-hmm. That takes pressure off your lower back.
Right.
Still works your legs, your upper body, etc. But it's more quad dominant, as opposed to deadlift becomes more hamstring because you're leaning forward and have to really pull. But it takes pressure off your lower back, right? Which most people do complain about anyways.
They struggle with, yeah.
Right, so you want to try to work, it's a good way to kind of work up to it. If you never want to do a deadlift, you don't really have to, but you have to make sure you find things that help get you stronger if you're going to be substituting it out. Right? Like the trap bar. So the thing is, I always say deadlift, before you do it, find a trainer, find someone who's really good at it. Not someone who lifts heavy, someone who does teach. Okay. Right? There's always a difference, right? Like for example, if I was going to learn Arabic, I wouldn't just go learn from any random person. I have to go learn from someone who knows Arabic, but then who can also teach. Right? So fitness is no different, right? So it's one for someone, like for example, going up to an athlete, like you think about some of the best coaches, right? They're not always the superstars. Actually, they're almost never the superstars. That's right. Like guys you would think about like how long, think about some of the, Steve Nash, for example, one of the best point guards. Turned out to be a really horrible coach, right? Steve Kerr, on the other hand, who wasn't anywhere near Steve Nash's level, turned out to be a really good coach, right? But you see that all the time. It's rare you ever see a superstar become, right? So same thing with this. It's not always the greatest athlete. So don't just look for the strongest guy in the gym to be like, all right, because it could be genetics or it could be many other things, right? Go for the person. So find someone who's really, really good to be able to walk through it. Got it. Right? Okay. So that looked really good.
So as I do this set, can you talk to me about workout timing during Ramadan specifically? So when can we work out? I'm going to set up.
Right. So one thing with Ramadan, there's about 4 different times that you can choose. The first 3 are going to be, here, let's do this set and I'll talk. I don't want to talk in between. It's disrespectful. 5. So don't over exaggerate your hip. Just stand tall and squeeze your glutes. Yeah, there you go. You felt the difference?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Rest. So before you were here, you were almost right. Yeah. You just gotta stand up and squeeze. Right. You don't gotta shoot too far forward, especially as it starts to get heavy. It'll have more of a negative effect if you keep shooting forward. Right. So when it comes to Ramadan, actually, just to kind of, you ever play golf?
A little bit.
Okay, so when the golfer's ready, you can't talk. You got to respect his shot. Right? Working out's the same way. Even though as loud as it is, the person, you can't talk to him if he's lifting. You got to give him the respect to focus and then go through it. And you see people all the time, they're just laughing and talking. Well, you're not working out anymore. You're clearly not exerting if you're talking and laughing. So when it comes to working out on Ramadan, the biggest thing is you got to look at your schedule, right? People ask me, what's the best time? So if I said 2 p.m., but then you're all at work at 2 p.m., that doesn't make sense, right? So you got to go based on what your schedule allows, right? So for example, most people, what they do is right before iftar. Right, great time. You're gonna have food and water available. Right, your energy might be a little bit lower, but it works really well because it allows your schedule to go to get through it. Again, don't worry too much about muscle loss or any of that stuff because again, it's not the purpose of Ramadan. But it is a good time that you're still gonna lose weight and so forth. But just make sure your protein intake is up so that way you're at the very least able to maintain your muscles. Right, because how you increase muscle is protein intake and weightlifting or strength training. Right, making sure those two things are there. Resistance, those two things are important. The other one after Dhuhr, I did that for years and I absolutely loved it. My energy was up. It forced me not to have to go all out as well because I'm like, even closer to iftar, I think I could push myself because I'm just gonna go home within 30, 40 minutes. I'm gonna eat or drink, right? So I'll be okay. But like Dhuhr, I'm like, I still have another 6-7 hours left of the day, right? So it forces you to have to really slow down your workouts, focus on your foundation, and you notice a huge burst of energy. Like you feel so much better. Right. But you gotta try out different times to see what works. And then after, say, iftar or after tarawih, anywhere in that nighttime, basically before fajr, before suhoor time. I'm not the biggest fan of working out that time simply because it's gonna affect your sleep. Now, if you're a university grad and so forth, or like university, college, high school, they're probably sleeping all day anyways. So they're like, okay, I could just work out at nighttime. Obviously, it's not the best thing to do because Ramadan is not the month of sleeping. It's the month, so you want to be able to read Quran and all these other things, right? So you can do it at that time because obviously you have food and water available. It's going to be like easier and so forth, right? But always remember your sleep is always going to be number one, right? When it comes to recovery, how you're feeling the next day, everything as a whole. So you got to make sure you keep that in mind. The other one, I had one of my friends who was a surgeon. He would do so. One of my clients actually was a surgeon. He always used to train at like 6 a.m. in the morning. Right after Fajr Salah, he would work out. Ramadan came, he's like, I want to try this, and I'm like, I'm not going to be responsible if your hands are shaking while you do surgery. And then he's like, no, I'll be okay. I'm like, all right, just do it on a day you don't have surgery. He's like, fine, right? And he tried it, and he's like, he felt amazing.
Really?
But he has a habit of every single day throughout the year, he trains at that time. Right? So he's already built into early morning. Exactly, right? So if you're going to be trying those times, just make sure what you're doing in the day, it's not like you're going to have an easier day that day, that if it's too hard, you'll be like, all right, just don't do this again, but just today's going to be a slower day, right? But you could try it, but you have to I always say is try different times, pace yourself in that first workout, take the first few days off from working out, go in maybe second, third day, and then start working out. Then that'll have a huge impact. So we're going to be doing barbell rows, right? Something you see all the time, very simple, basic fundamental exercise that you see all the time, and probably 5% of the time is wrong.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll see you evaluate mine then. So this is how my usual setup is here.
Chest up. Come down, no, more. Not too much, come back up, right there. Chest up. Yeah, now roll. All right, you're still a little bit higher than you would like to be. Okay. Right, so come down more and push your hip back. Good. Arms straight. Good. Drive. Good. Feel the difference already?
Yeah.
See how just the bar is heavy now?
Yes.
Good. Yeah. Drive. So this forces you, glutes engaged, your hamstrings. Good. All right, drop the weight. All right, you see how that's harder? Another thing is close your grip. Right. So notice this a lot, that you do this a lot, where you have your thumbs over.
I do the suicide grip all the time.
Yeah, don't do that. Especially when you're benching, don't do that because I've seen stuff where, you'll kill yourself. On top of that, you want to work on your grip, right? So close that grip, right? Okay. Same thing with this, close that grip. So there is one thing is that when you're a beginner, right? That's actually a technique that most trainers will use. Well, they'll tell them put their thumb on the outside when they're pulling. Yes. Because what ends up happening is because they become so dominant in their arms and not used to really using a lot of the back muscles, or they're just weak. So they'll tell them put their grip almost like a false grip. Right. So that way it forces the back work more and the arms not to work as much, and your arms become a grip, a hook. You're not a beginner. Right. So, and even then, even if you are a beginner, try that. If you don't feel the back, then do it. But if you are feeling the back, keep that grip. Okay? Got it. So now here, I'll walk through. Just one sec. So now from here, one thing we want to focus on is, like I see people walking with it, doing it. But once you add plates, it's already high enough, right? Okay. So you want to think deadlift first, right? Okay. So when you're here, right? So say the bar would be here if you put a weight on it.
Yep.
Right? So from here, right? I'm already in position, right? Back is straight, chest up, and I'm from here, drive, right? So even if you go low, your back is still straight through. Right? So you were kind of here to start, and this is where you see most people. What most people do is they're here and they're driving here, and they start putting on a crazy amount of weight, and they're like, like, you're not doing anything, right? If you're gonna do the exercise, do it properly, right? So get down, and that's the thing. Like I see people, and I'm like, I can get over a plate and a quarter, right? Obviously, it starts to get like I can do 2 plates on it. It gets heavier. Right. I see guys with like 2 plates and a quarter, and I'm like, and they're just like, and just control first off. Right, straighten the back, think hip hinge, right? So you're here, right? So if I position myself here, right, back is straight, and then you're driving the elbows through.
Right.
Right? Whenever it comes to pull exercise, think of elbowing somebody, right? So when your camera guys annoy you, and you just want to like,
all the time,
right? And when they're not listening to you, you just want to like drive it, elbow into the rib. Think that. So think they're both standing behind you, and then you're just ready to elbow them both. Okay? Ready?
All right.
All right. So come down, push your rear end out, chest up. Good. Elbows out. There you go. Much better. Feel the difference?
Yep.
Good. So you can actually come forward just a little bit more. Chest up, chest up.
Oh, up here?
Drive. So open up your stance a little bit on your feet. Yeah. Now come down, down, chest up, down. Good. You see how you're able to get lower?
Yeah.
Good. Come down. Hit. All right. Rest. Let's put some weight on. So we'll start with 25. There's a few different variations within this.
Yeah.
Right, that you can easily do.
Different grips?
No, well, the grips kind of stay the same. I wouldn't change the grips. You can change the grips as well. The only thing is, for most people, they don't have the strength to be able to, their biceps will be doing most of the work.
Okay.
Right? It's just because most people will just be more dominant in that, so I don't usually recommend that.
Right.
One I really like is spot press. Right? Okay. So you're dropping the weight. It's going to make a little bit of noise, right? Okay. But you're dropping the weight. It's not dropping, but you're placing the weight down, and you're resetting and then pulling. It becomes a lot harder, a lot less weight, but it really focuses you on being able to get stronger because now you're having to reset every single rep, right? So the way it works is you're here, right? So now you'll see me do this a lot. You hear that sound?
Yeah.
That's taking the tension off.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a, like most powerlifters will tell you this, you're just taking the tension off of it because right now you hear this, like I'm not lifting it, but you hear that sound. So you always want to start here.
Right.
Because you're taking the tension off and then you're just being able to, right? So from here, right, here, and then every time. Right, really feel it on your hamstring, your glutes, and you feel it on your back. The one thing is, because I ripped it up the first time, I had to like drop it down because I didn't realize how light it was, right? So you can obviously add more weight, right? It becomes a lot harder to really feel that in the back. It's good because it kind of forces you to stop and go through. But yeah, we'll go back to the regular that we were doing, and we can try that after if you want. All right, so open up your stance on your legs a little bit. Yeah, because you're not necessarily deadlifting, right? But you want to feel strong in that position.
Right.
So chest up. Good. Good. Down. Down. Up. Good. Much better. Yeah. Good. Bring the chest down a little bit. Good. 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 You want to squeeze here. Think here. Yeah. Feel that more here now?
Yep.
Good. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Good. Good. Rest.
So I have a tendency, once I finish that, to stand up and then go back down.
Yeah.
Try to cut that out probably.
No, as long as your form's fine. There's nothing wrong with it necessarily, right? But the one thing is, you want to focus on, so here, come here and turn around.
Yeah.
So this is for kind of everyone else watching, right? So this is your upper traps.
Yep.
Right? These are usually the most hyper on everybody, on actually almost everybody, right? Your traps comes all the way down to about here, right? It's a big muscle. People think just here.
Yeah.
You have your mid and lower traps, right? Same thing with your lats. Your lats are like massive muscles. They're almost like your wings, right? So they're really important because they really help you stay strong going through it, especially even on like a push exercise, your lats have to stabilize, right? So for what I always like kind of telling people is almost like a trick. Now this might not work for everybody, but I've noticed it has helped. So this is very anecdotal, is to think almost lower lats. Because most people don't do a good job of really firing their lower lats. So when you're pulling, almost focus on that. And I've noticed people are able to really contract their entire lats a lot better, right? So just like little tricks that you can try. And same thing when it comes to if you're doing shrugs or if you're doing anything else. Remember, you have all of this still to go. That's really, really important on helping you stay strong and work on those postural muscles. Again, all things that are really good to do in Ramadan, right? Because it's very light, stuff you don't need to, go heavy. Even with this stuff that we've did, like they're compound movements, right? They work on multiple muscle groups, right? Obviously, we're taking lots of rests. We're not really going heavy for you. Like, alhamdulillah, you're really strong. Like, you can actually lift a lot heavier, right? But you can think of just those 4 exercises, right? You can get an amazing workout.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And every workout you set up, like say you add a few different changes, so day 2 and then another change for day 3, right? You should do that for 4 weeks at least before you think about change anyways.
Right.
Like you always want to stay adaptable, but you still want to adapt as well. Right, so you want to adapt to movement, right? So we even think about like strength. Strength doesn't necessarily come from like muscle groups, it comes from movement. So you're trying to strengthen a movement. That's why if you see powerlifters, what do? They bench, they deadlift, they squat. Every movement they do outside of that is to help strengthen that, right? Yeah. But same thing with basketball players or football players and so forth. What do they have to be good at? They have to sprint and they have to change direction. Every exercise they do forces them to be able to improve on sprint, change direction. Right? They'll never go in, and if you ever see like a video of them doing any sorts of bicep curls, it's usually for the camera. It's not a part of their, or it's at the end where the trainer's like, yeah, just have fun. Go do your thing. Basketball players usually do arms only because they're wearing tank tops, right? So they have their jerseys, so they're like, all right, I want to make sure I show some off. But 90% of them, honestly, is just genetics. Right? Think about it, you have the elite athletes. Right, so these guys are just obviously going to be jacked because they are the best. They are, the 1% of the 1%, right? So they're obviously going to be having that genetic ability, right? You think about LeBron James, he was going to be a superstar no matter what he did, right? He takes it to another. I don't know if it's alhamdulillah, but yeah, he takes it to another level because he just works harder. But yeah, if you think about like his body, he's just a genetic freak, right? So for us normal people, normal humans, yeah, we gotta add stuff to work on as well.
Got it. Okay, so not everybody's going to have access to a gym and they still want to stay active during Ramadan. Yeah. So what are some things that we can do at home to stay active during the month?
So think very fundamental, basic stuff, right? So you got squats, push-ups, planks, lunges, right? All things you can easily do, right? If you have like a dumbbell or kettlebell, most people have like 1 or 2 things, right? You can add rows, right? If you can attach a pull-up bar on like a door, you can do that as well. So there's always stuff, and that's the thing. Ramadan is actually a really good time to be able to start, right? So when people ask, can you start? Because it forces you to not have to go too hard and focus on the foundation, which you should be doing anyways. Like when people are like, I want to lose weight, what's the best workout for losing weight? It's putting your fork down.
That's the best exercise.
Less fork bicep curls. Right? Put the fork down. That's going to be the biggest thing for weight loss, right? But when it comes to helping weight loss, your workouts, because you're burning more calories and so forth, but you shouldn't do calories in, calories out, right? You should just, right? However, your workout should help you get stronger, right? Putting on muscle helps burn a lot as well, right? However, in Ramadan, obviously, now the good thing is, in Ramadan it's hard to build muscle, except if you're a beginner. Right? Because they're increasing their protein intake than they would otherwise. It becomes, and then they're working out, which they otherwise would not. Now, I'm not saying that they're gonna like jack up, and they probably won't even notice it, right? Because it's only 4 weeks. It's not enough time in that sense, right? And then, but if you do start doing, you will start to get stronger. You will notice a difference in strength. Now, that doesn't mean that you're gonna go from squatting body weight to squatting 315, but it might be you're squatting body weight to lifting a 45-pound kettlebell. Which is still a huge jump, right? But now imagine you haven't do that in Ramadan where you already have to take a step back. And now imagine what you're gonna do after Ramadan, right? So it's actually an amazing time just to be able to start, because you should be focusing on the fundamentals anyways when you first starting working out, right? And for those who've been working out for a while, when was the last time you took a step back and focused on the fundamentals?
right? You're not going to get weaker. You're not going to lose massive amounts of muscle. If you do, it's going to be a really small amount that you can make up within a few weeks or a month, right? And for those that are worried about losing anything, you always have to think about, you have 12 months out of the year, right? You're clearly not doing enough in those 11 months that you're worried about 1 month where you're losing everything, right? So that's the one thing, is kind of having that self-reflection, right? But for those working out at home, easily. And the thing is, 3 workouts in a week, 30, 40 minutes, even less, right? Easily. The timings we've talked about when you should be working out, go through that and you'll notice the difference.
And what about cardio? So the 3 workouts, we talked about 3 full body workouts. What about cardio?
So one of the things that everybody does when it comes to Ramadan is they eat more and they move less.
Okay.
When it comes to every disease known to man, those are the first things that comes up.
How to set yourself up for failure.
What's the leading cause of death in society, or especially in the West? It's heart disease, right? Those 2 things are the leading causes of heart disease, right? And we blame everything else. We'll blame GMOs and artificialing this and sugar and everything else. And all that stuff we can debate about being good or bad, but it's just, we're just consuming too much, right? Because even if you eat healthy stuff too much, even though it's healthy and it's giving you nutrients and vitamins, it's still going to make you put weight on, which is then obviously going to be bad for your heart because it's having to take on more. Think of an engine. Think of like having a Corolla engine and you're trying to put a Corvette into it, you're going to blow that engine, right? So you got to be able to make sure that you're taking on what you can handle, right? So the biggest thing is obviously eating less, but then cardio plays a huge part on elevating your heart rate, obviously, helping you burn fat as well, right? Helping you lose weight overall. So one thing I always recommend to everybody is every single day walk. Minimum 10, 15, 20 minutes, right? That's not a lot in an entire day. Do that right before iftar. Just create a consistent schedule you want. If you want to rotate from workouts to that, I'd say regardless if you're working out that day, go for it. And the good thing is, especially if you're working in office, you're working 9 to 5, lunchtime you can't eat. So go outside and go for a walk. And especially in most places, the weather is going to be decent, right? And if you're in the colder climate, the weather's better than what it was. And if you're in warmer climates, you never have an excuse. Ask us in the colder climates. I was just in California and some of them were like, oh, it's cold. I'm like, it's great. And it was raining at that time too. I'm like, it's still amazing. I'd rather have this than snow. Right? So the one thing is making sure that you're being mindful of doing something every single day that forces you to be physically active. Right? And so that's the one thing. And then, so there's actually pretty interesting research. They were doing it on soccer players in Europe, and they realized that their endurance actually improved through fasting during the time in the month of Ramadan. Now, what the correlation is, they weren't 100% sure about that, right? But as long as your nutrition is on point, your sleep and so forth, like your strength won't go up. When they're talking about like your 1 rep max, your muscle obviously won't go up, but it could have an impact on your endurance. So if that is one thing you wanted to improve, you could do that in the month of Ramadan. Now, on top of that, if you have a history of going for runs, go for a run. If you don't, start off with walks and slowly work into a jog to see how you feel. Put a timer for like 5-10 minutes and then slowly start working your way up. Do that about 2-3 times a week, or if you want to add more for it, that's perfectly fine as well. But the biggest thing is just start being consistent. All right? It doesn't matter what you do. If you're not consistent, like you can put together the greatest program in the world, right? Or the greatest routine in the world. If you're not going to follow it, it doesn't really matter. Right. Absolutely.
Well, this is great. I mean, you put me through a workout. We talked about Ramadan. We talked about nutrition a little bit. And timing and all that kind of stuff. Anything else? Any last remarks about working out in Ramadan?
Have fun with it. Enjoy it. And remember, especially for the guys, if you're, this is funny. You hear this all the time. Those are like in their 30s and 40s. They're always like, oh, back in my days. Like, brother, this is your day. Right? It wasn't your day when you were a teenager.
Right? People are saying that in their 20s now.
What? I'm like, it's still my day. I'm still good to go. I'm like, here, I'll still compete at anything, whatever it is. I'm like, all right. But the thing is, it's a mentality, right? Because you were free once before, right? Because you weren't married, you didn't have kids, and you didn't have to pay for anything, or you just took care of yourself. You woke up and you worried about your own schedule. But the thing is, it's not that people don't have time, is they have less time, they have more priorities, right? They have more stress because you gotta make sure the bills are paid, you gotta make sure you're spending time with the wife and kids. All stuff that's really important, don't ever miss out on. But you still have to make sure you're taking care of your health, because you don't wanna be in your 60s or 70s or even 50s, as heck, you're seeing it now in their 40s, where people are having to be stuck to medication or having people take care of them at such young ages. We used to see that in their 70s, 80s. We're seeing kids that are being diagnosed with diabetes at the age of like 10, 15. That was unheard of 40, 50 years ago, right? So stuff like that is, it's scary, but it's it's all stuff that's being caused by us, right? But the thing is, we're gonna blame everyone else, right? But we just gotta look at ourselves. What are we doing at home? What changes can we bring at home to be able to do that? So when parents ask me, I need to get my kids active, first question to ask, what are you doing?
Right, how active are you?
It's no different than Salah, right? Imagine telling our kids like, all right, go pray Salah, and we sit down and start watching TV. Kids are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Dad's not praying, right? So always remember, you gotta lead by example, right? And then what example do we want to set, right? So that's the one thing is that, stop saying back in my days. Yes, you might not turn into the athlete that you once were, but it doesn't matter. That's not what you're aiming for anyways, right? But just start doing something. You'll be surprised and shocked at what you can actually accomplish and what your body's capable of, right? So enjoy it, have fun with it, and inshallah, this could be a stepping stone towards continue to keep doing it well after Ramadan, inshallah.
Absolutely. Ramadan's the time. Looking forward to it.
Definitely.